Well, you need. Let me get into this pod. Hold on, y'all. We coming in hot.
Oh.
Hold on. This video caused an argument in my house last night.
Oh.
Well, almost. But I let her know I ain't arguing with you on this.
I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Mm-hmm.
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
With Keke Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, fuck me, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
So that was the beginning.
That is.
So then I'm
nah, shoot. Oh, sorry. This is what Jamar just sent me.
It's a bop right there.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. Can't wait to see next elections.
Sorry, Jamar just sent that to me, and I was crying so much that I sent it to Mike before the pod started. That is the most random thing ever.
So that song is a bop, though. I ain't gonna lie.
It is a bop. It would be fire if he wasn't sending y'all back across. Yeah, it would be super fired in. You idiots, but we'll get there. So then this is part 2 that me and my wife started the conversation. Hold on.
I just saw Snoop Dogg on a podcast complaining about how there was a baby in a movie that had 2 moms. And he was like, how do I explain this? How do I explain 2 moms to my grandkid? I shouldn't even have to see this. Man, forget that. How are you going to explain it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none? How you going to explain that, Snoop? How are you going to explain that Pop was rapping about how he cannot delight in sex unless he knows that his male friends are also having sex with the same woman? How are you going to explain that? It might be a little harder to explain.
I hate you non-black speaking on black culture.
True.
Let me go ahead and do this. Y'all know where I stand with everything with the LGBTQ plus community. I rock with y'all. We didn't have a gay dad on here. Shout out to you, who I no longer speak to, for getting us over the hump on YouTube and getting us monetized. Thank you. And that's funny because he told me, I think you used me to get monetized. And I said, who knows? But anyway, shout out to Trey. That is a joke, by the way, but shout out to Trey. Y'all know where I stand at. I support y'all. I done been to Pride a couple of times for work. It's been fun. It is real. I ain't got no problem with y'all. Y'all can hang out with me. Y'all know where I'm at with that. Let me tell y'all one thing. I hate people. I can tell with this discussion with Snoop, who is speaking from a place that don't have kids. And this ain't even about that for me. This is more about, as a person who has a child, yes. And I'm speaking directly to Van Lathan, because you got on your platform 2 minutes after this landed and you said, oh, it's your job to explain things. Sorry, newsflash. It ain't my child's grandparents' job to explain stuff to them.
That's
and
true.
I feel very strong about that.
Absolutely.
Because some of the stuff, and y'all know how I say how old people need to get off the internet. Snoop is one of those people as well, because
Snoop is old. So he's a granddad.
He is a granddad.
He's a
and
granddad.
some things from their generation, they don't understand that you can't say.
I mean, how old is Snoop? 56?
Snoop is way older than you.
I know he's older than me. That's what I'm saying. So I'm old.
Yeah, Snoop been around for too long.
So like Snoop was an adult when I was in high school.
Yeah, 94 when he met with Dre, he had to be like 18 or 20.
Yeah, he's 53.
Dang, that's young. Snoop is young. So,
but he's still a granddad. I mean, 50s, 50s is younger now because people take better care of themselves. But back in the day, 53, hey man.
Yeah, it's certain things I don't want my father and mother, people who raised me, who I love to death, I don't want them explaining certain things to my kids. So it ain't Snoop's job to explain things to his grandchild. Now, it might behoove him to say, hey, you know what? Let's talk to your mom and dad about this.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go, is just be like, hey, man, just like, talk to your parents about that.
Absolutely. Because at this time, you got to, first of all, I don't know how old his grandkids is. And it's tough explaining stuff to kids about sexuality and whatever versions of it, right?
Absolutely. And it should be the parents' job.
It's the parents' job. And so, so to the young fella who came out at the end talking about some who I just played, talking about how you going to explain your songs. Yo, that's a choice. It is hard when I don't have a choice in the matter. And I bring this up all the time. One of our listeners, love her to death. Ain't gonna shout her out because y'all will find her because she follow us and she comments, right? She said she went to the JoJo Siwa concert and the last thing JoJo Siwa said was, yo, I'm bisexual and ran. And she said, I had to explain to my daughter what being bisexual meant. And I wasn't ready for it. And it was just like, damn, you didn't have to say that. You know what my wife told me yesterday? She said, funny enough, JoJo Siwa is with a man and they got a baby and they raising them together.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one half of the bisexuality.
Yeah, the 30-year-old, 27-year-old, 25-year-old, and a 26-year-old. So, yeah, it's a really good chance that, he probably has like a 5-year-old grandchild.
Yeah, and it's
easily.
like, bro, I don't have time to be explaining it. And, it is what it is. I didn't take it as that. I took it as like, Snoop is just looking at like, yo, I don't want to be the one that has to explain this to my grandkids.
Yeah, I mean, Snoop has been in the entertainment industry, so I'm pretty sure LGBTQ stuff does not throw him off.
Nah.
So I'm pretty sure him being in the music industry, he's used to that.
He's seen his fair share.
Yeah, he's seen his fair share. But I will say this, and I'm gonna get to the little guy that was just like, "How you gonna explain? Ain't no fun. The homies can't have none." I'm gonna get to that point. But this is what I will say, right? When you insert that, right, something that is outside of the norm, because it's still outside of the norm, right?
Yes.
And when you insert that into a kid's movie, it does come across as, well, we're trying to either normalize it, or as others are going to say, there's an agenda. We can never have that conversation because it's easy to say, hey, what part does this play in Buzz Lightyear's story?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't really play a part.
It don't.
So we can have that conversation, right? But we cannot discuss nuance on the internet. But perhaps powers that be, when the people are in boardrooms, when people are writing, to say, hey, how does this play in the story, right? The world isn't used to this yet, or the world doesn't want this yet. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that we have to hide it. But it does mean that, in a movie for 2 to 7-year-olds, doesn't belong.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
And it's fair. And you know what? It's a reason why when you watch kid movies, you rarely see the mom and dad kissing and being intimate. It's just like, usually the mom and dad is in a movie because there's a kid there and we got to explain how kids get here. And still to this day, it's 2025, kids do come from a male and a female.
Yes. That is the way we all have gotten here, even those that no longer do that, right?
Absolutely.
We've all gotten there that way. Now, to the guy that's like, yo, how do you explain that? I hate when y'all use false equivalencies that have these moral, virtual signals. Because for one, like, my son knows that he is not allowed to watch Black Dad's Club podcast.
Oh, damn. Sorry, Hayden.
Hayden's not my child.
He ain't mine.
Yeah.
But go ahead, yes.
But I'm like, hey, when you get older, not only can you watch it, but I want you to watch it and come and talk to me about it.
So we can have the conversation.
So we can have the conversations.
Facts.
But for right now, you're just getting into, your preteen years, right? Bruh, the things that I talk about are not appropriate for you. These are adult conversations.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly okay to say, hey, at some point, Snoop's grandkids are going to listen to the song.
Yeah.
And Snoop, you're going to have to explain that.
Absolutely.
What did you mean by that? Son, it was a wild time, right? The same way our parents, not my
called
parents.
doggy style.
Not my parents, right? But some of y'all parents had to explain, the 60s to you, right?
Yeah.
They had to explain it. So it's like, all right, that's fair. But there's also saying like, hey, not yet. You're not ready for that yet. And Snoop's he's not wrong for saying, bruh, I don't need to be having this conversation with my children's kids.
Yeah. It's funny. We was at the dinner table yesterday. We get the Roe birthday, but we was talking, and when Hayden was out there, and so he went home to his mom and was like, "Yo, they mentioned me on the pod. I'm about to be famous." I was like, "Bro, we ain't there. We ain't close either." So he looked embarrassed because he didn't want me to know that. Yeah. She was like, yo, he was so excited that y'all said his name. Like, he thought he about to go to school and the whole school was going to know who he is. I'm like, all right, we
not
get famous.
Yet, but by the time he get to college, though, probably so.
Yeah, But yeah, it was funny because when we were younger, when Hayden was a baby and he would come to my house, it was certain things we wouldn't do while he was there. And part of that reason was, hey, I'm not going to be the one explaining this to his mom.
Exactly.
And whatever he would ask, if it was something out of my wheelhouse, talk to your mom when you get home. And I think a lot of us don't have to do that. So we just think like, hey, being gay is okay, so let's go ahead and throw this, and it should be the Wild Wild West. And why that's cool, the conversation me and my wife had yesterday was like, yo, it's still a large percent of this country who is saying no to this, and you can't get mad when they say, hey, no to this. Now, you can correct them, you can go speak to them, and you can have that conversation you want to. A lot of us who accept it is just like, all right, bro, I don't care. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at Snoop saying, yo, I wasn't ready to have this conversation with somebody else's child.
Yeah, and like I said, if it can be defended that's appropriate, then you also need to be able to defend when others say, hey, that's inappropriate. Mm-hmm. And again, I almost, because I watched the movie and I saw it and I was just like, okay, didn't see that coming, right? And it's like I'm watching Buzz, and it was a good Buzz. Like, I love Buzz Lightyear, by the way. It's like one of the few kids movies that's like, yo, it's out. I'm like, all right, yo, let's go watch that.
Yeah.
But it was something where it was just like, all right. But anyway, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
In the show.
Absolutely. Hold on, y'all. All right, let me tell y'all why y'all about to stop being able to rent my studio. Somebody done delete my intro off the damn.
No, wait. How did?
Cause niggas come in here. How far are we? All right, I can get my hate off. Niggas come in here, they'll just push a button and be like, oh, what that do? Oh, it say delete. Just delete it.